As you've seen in some of my other videos, I've been de-yellowing plastic on vintage toys, including Star Wars and Masters of the Universe. And I've been contacted recently by subscriber Frederick Larson asking whether I'd done any yellowed Lego pieces, vintage Lego pieces, to which my answer is no, because I don't actually collect it. So he has kindly sent me a bag full of yellowed Lego pieces to try and see if the de-yellowing works well on those. Here in front of me I have a selection of pieces from him. As you can see, there's a large selection of white yellow bricks that obviously suffer from the standard yellowing that you see on Stormtroopers and other things. Here's a great example. You can see that this is almost gone a sort of nicotine yellow colour, and on the inside it's actually almost white. So that's a perfect example of a piece that we'll be able to see if it works, how well the result works. There's also a door here which is very yellowed on the front of it, and still a little yellowed on the inside, but not too bad. He's also sent me some blue bricks to try. So here's one. This has gone sort of the typical green, same sort of green colour that the He-Man Skeletor figure goes. Actually, on this side you can see quite clearly it should be that blue on the left, and it's gone very green on the right. So again, a perfect brick to test to see if it works. There's also some grey pieces. I'm hoping that these will work well, because the ATST that I did recently went a very nice grey colour from being quite yellowed, so hopefully this will work nicely as well. And he's also sent me some pieces with printed decals on, just to see what happens to them. So here we have a yellowed sort of angled piece with some black markings, and we'll see how that comes out, and also a brick that says Lego on it. So again, we'll see how that one works. Overall, there's a nice selection here. So as is always the way, the first thing to do is give them a good clean, which I will do, and then we need to drop them into some hydrogen peroxide. So I have my standard jar of hydrogen peroxide here. Let me just move those out, and most of these pieces should fit nicely into this jar. I think there's only a couple of these very large grey pieces that won't fit. So basically I'm going to stick all of these pieces into this jar and stick them in bright sunshine. Hopefully all of these pieces will fit in here, which it looks like they will. Right, so there we go. That's pretty much all the pieces stuck in there. The grey pieces are actually too big to fit in, so I'm going to stick those in a different jar. And this will now go out in the sunshine, and we'll see what happens. The hydrogen peroxide I use is only a 6% solution. You can buy much larger percentage solutions for bleaching hair, but this 6% stuff does the job very well. And also this 6% stuff is very cheap. You can pick up a bottle like this for about £1 in most chemists or drugstores. This stuff is used for cleaning wounds and mouthwash. The only difference you'll find with the lower percentage stuff is that it takes a little longer to do, but I actually prefer that when doing the bleaching, as doing it quickly can damage the plastic. So this 6% stuff is ideal and is very cheap. In the end, I left the Lego bricks in for about 3 days, although some bricks I removed earlier as they had already gone through the sort of de-yellowing process and were looking pretty good. So let's first of all take a look at the white bricks. Here we have the white bricks that were all de-yellowed. As you can see, this one here was one of the worst offenders. It was a pretty sort of orangey colour on this side, and the end result is pretty good. There's still a little tinge of sort of yellow to it, but compared to how it was, it's very, very much improved. Actually, there was a slight sort of yellow circle in the middle there, which I think is where this dent is on the back, but that's a very sort of minor sort of change in colour. All the other pieces are excellent. This sort of bar piece is back to being white. The door was also a very yellowed piece, and this looks pretty much sort of case fresh, I would say. There are sort of a few little bits of yellowing on them, but this you get with these Stormtroopers as well. They tend to have a little sort of tinge left, but they are considerably better than they were originally. There was also one piece with a decal on it here, and as you can see, the decal is still in place and has not been faded at all. So for the white bricks, very good result. Let's move on to the grey ones. So here we have the grey pieces. Again, this has been a pretty good result. All of the grey pieces have lost their yellow tinge and are pretty sort of even in colour as well, which is something you don't often get. The worst pieces on this was that some of these flat ones had quite sort of yellowing on one side and were sort of the normal grey on the other side, so those have gone pretty good. And again, these grey sort of longer bricks, they still have a slight tinge of yellow to them, but on the whole I would say sort of 80 to 90% better than they were originally. And then we have these small bricks. I was given a whole selection of these, all in completely sort of different shades of yellow. If I put these all together now, you can see they're actually a pretty even shade of grey, so the de-yellowing has worked very well on those. Right, let's take a look at the blue bricks. The de-yellowing on the blue bricks, I would say, has been the least effective. As you can see here on these two, these were both sort of green on one side and their original blue on the other side due to the sun fading. And after going through the de-yellowing process, the green, it's less green, they're now back to being blue, but they're actually a lighter colour where the de-yellowing has taken place. The original blue is still the correct blue, but the de-yellowed bit has got a sort of more faded colour, and this only appears to have happened on the blue bricks. I can show you a better example here. Here are 4 bricks that were all sort of fairly yellowed. You can see on this side they're sort of almost the same colour. But if I turn them over, some of them have actually got a sort of strange sort of whiter blue colour. So it appears that the de-yellowing process doesn't seem to work particularly well with the blue bricks. Grey and white perfectly well, the blue not so good. There's a couple of angled bricks here as well, and again you can see the difference in colour in the middle one. The two end ones have not done badly, but the middle one has sort of faded and got a sort of lighter blue colour. It's no longer greeny yellow, but it is noticeably faded. You can see on the side there the difference. So that's obviously something to do with the pigment in the blue plastic. So it's a bit of a shame. The others work perfectly well, the blue not so good. Let's take a look at the final pieces. The final few pieces here are mini figures, and this was really to test what the hydrogen peroxide would do to the decals. The white of the legs of these have gone back to being pretty nice white, and actually the decals are in no worse condition than when they started, so they've not faded at all. They're still the same brightness. They're fairly worn, but they were when I was given these figures. The de-whitening has not affected the decals in any way at all. You can see here there's a brick with Lego written on it, and this looks exactly as it did when I first put it in the hydrogen peroxide. So not a bad result there. So overall, the de-yellowing of Lego bricks, let me bring them all back in, has worked pretty well on the grey and white bricks. Those have come out very nicely. On the blue, it's a little bit hit and miss, so I would suggest if you're doing this for yourself, be a bit wary on these coloured bricks because it can cause some fading of the colour, but on the white and grey ones it works perfectly. I hope that's of help to you LEGO collectors, and thanks for watching.